I am Oba Gabriel Osho Adeniyi Ojikutu kejì, ọba ńlá ti ìlú Ìjẹ̀ṣà-Iṣu in Ekiti State of Nigeria. Mo láyọ̀ láti sọ nǹkan díẹ̀ nípa the late Chief S.A. Dada of Ìtàpá Èkìtì, who was my mentor and who was principal of African Church Grammar School Apata until he passed on into glory. I knew him as a gentleman when he was a pupil teacher in my town in Ìjẹ̀ṣà-Iṣu, Ekiti. And it is from here that he wrote an examination into the then University College at Ibadan, where he studied and graduated, after which he later became the principal of African Church Teacher Training College, Ikere Ekiti, then later African Church Grammar School, Apata in Ibadan. When he was the principal of African Church Teacher Training College, Ikere Ekiti, I served under him as a tutor. And he did so many things which influenced my own life later. Number one, he was a very simple gentleman to the core. Even in dressing, he was not interested in wearing gorgeous dresses like most of his people will wear in those days. Two, he believed in doing what he felt he could do to benefit him and the community around him. Let's take a start from eating. If you prepare a very big bunch of pounded yam and you cook your soup with so many pieces of meat, put all these on the table. If you ask him to come and take food, he will get a plate, get a knife, cut the small piece he believes he can finish, and take only one piece of meat. He will not take more than that and will finish. I never saw him eating with hand. He will always use the fork and knife to eat. Two, in those days, if he went out to attend these social gatherings with Victor Olaiya playing or Roy Chicago or Ike Dairo, he would leave his house and make up his mind that he will not spend more than £2 in the party. Let the musician beat, call his name, sing, and do whatever he can from morning to evening. He will not spend more than that £2. Three, when I joined him as a tutor, he will ask all of us to sign for our salary on a single page voucher. His own name will be number 1, and my name will be number last on the list. He will now tell me later that the salaries of all of us from number 2 to my own, which I was, if you add up all together, it will not be up to his own salary. So he said, if I wanted to earn such fat salary, I should read by going to the university. And this encouraged me. He taught me how to receive tuition from Rapid Result College and Wolsey Hall from the UK in those days. Then, as soon as I got my salary, he would ask me to take whatever would be enough for me to eat for the month and give him the rest, so that when he went to the University College in Ibadan, he would use that to buy books and bring to me to read. Then later I gained admission to several universities. In the year 1963, he advised me to go to the University of Ibadan. I wanted to go to Indiana University. He said no. The cost of going to Indiana University for one session will be more than enough for staying at the University College Ibadan for 4 years or 4 sessions. Then another thing I learned from him, there is always room at the top. For example, I had problem with somebody who felt he was rich in my town and who had a Volkswagen car. The man told me that I was a poor man. Then I now made up my mind to say that the first car I will buy will be big enough, have space enough to take that man's Volkswagen car. And by the time I was buying my first car, I bought a Peugeot, which was so much bigger than a Volkswagen car. Then, when I finished my university exam and passed, it was when Ojukwu was declaring or was boasting that we go on and declare a state of Biafra. Then I wanted, with the youthful exuberance in me, I wanted to go and join the army. My parents said no. My mother in particular said she would die if I went into the army. I consulted the late Chief S.A. Dada, and he just told me that there is one Latin adage that says that there is nothing as good as dying for one's nation. With that, I disobeyed my parents and I went into the Nigerian army. And to God be the glory, for the 30 months war, I did not sustain any injury. Then, when I wanted to become the Oba, he asked me whether I really wanted to rule. I told him yes, because I'm a prince, a royal prince with the royal blood in me. And he said I should continue to contest, and I contested and won. In writing, he asked me to come and review 2 of his books. He never knew he would die. So when his corpse was being buried at Itapa, I went there. As an Oba, I would not see the corpse. But after the burial, we did the launching of the 2 books. And I gave my own version of reviewing the book. The same thing. Before he died, I wrote 2 books on Ekiti State. I invited him from Ibadan to come and review the books. And I so much love the way he reviewed the books. In fact, when I was discussing him with somebody, I just said, the language he used in reviewing my book was mathematical, because I know him to be a mathematician. And although I did not attend the secondary school where I would have studied Latin in those days, because he read Latin in the university, I, because of him, decided to learn Latin. And I passed it at the ordinary level, even though I attended a teacher training college and not a secondary school. So that was my life with him. And until he joined the ancestors, by which time he passed into glory, I was regularly getting in touch with him. If he had anything doing at Ibadan, he will invite me, and as an Oba, I will go. That is my short review or short impression about him. I followed his life, which I think influenced my own life in many ways. Once again, I am doing this for a group that says they want to organize his biannual lecture, and I enjoy this. If at any time they want to do it again and they invite me, if I'm still alive, I will gladly join. Like I told the gentleman who introduced this to me, by December 24, I will be 90 years old, which I think is very young. I hope you will all agree that a man of 90 is still very young. If he were alive today, I would have invited him to attend the function. And for those who are doing anything in memory of him, as long as I'm invited, when I am alive, I will always join. Thank you.
Professor Johnson Sunday Ajose Osho is a retired professor of biometrics. He graduated from the University of Ife, now OAU, in the year 1971. Some of us are not yet in the secondary school at the time. And went on further to the Iowa State University in, is it Ames or Ames in USA for his PhD. So he's a resident of Jericho, Ibadan, after his retirement from the University of Ibadan. Professor Osho is one of those who used to be our role model in those days, because he was a young, handsome, bearded man at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Professor Osho for his opening remarks as chairman of the day.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir. You can continue.
Okay. I will take advantage that I am addressing a very learned audience to stand on all existing protocols. I consider myself not capable enough to discuss a wonderful icon, Chief S.A. Dada, so accept my inadequacies. Chief S.A. Dada was born in Itaquá in September 8, 1926, and died in November 1999. The contributions of this special breed can be divided into three non-mutually exclusive categories: education, politics, and religion. In education, he was highly dedicated to the advancement of education, firstly in his place of birth, Itaquá, and later extended the gesture to the whole of Ekiti land and finally to Nigeria at large. He used his personal resources to sponsor many sons and daughters to acquire education at primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. He was the initiator of the establishment of Itakwa Community High School, a school that has produced many distinguished scholars and entrepreneurs. In politics, at the completion of his studies at the University of Ibadan, he was appointed the principal of African Church Teacher Training College, Kalejaiye, between 1958 and 64. During his appointment, he participated in the political activities in the days of the Wild West on part-time basis, as was the practice then. He still made his mark as he was appointed a member of the governing council of the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, by the Western Nigerian government. He helped his people to secure employment, particularly academic positions. Many of the beneficiaries are now distinguished professors in Nigerian universities and other foreign universities in the United Kingdom, United States, and Canada. In religion, Chief S.A. Dada played excellent leadership role in the African Church, Nigeria. For several years, he was the conference secretary of the African Church. With this appointment, he became the main link between the church congregants, the clergy, and the elected National Council of the African Church, Nigeria. As a result of his very outstanding performances as the conference secretary, Chief S.A. Dada was appointed as the principal of African Church Grammar School, Akwata, Ibadan, 1971 to 76. He retired from public service in 1976. Today, some of his students in African Church Grammar School are in very many strategic positions in Nigeria. Needless to mention that the class of 76 are responsible for holding this second biennial lecture. Here, we had a prolific and highly principled mathematician of note, and a politician of exceptional character. He provided leadership in African Church Nigeria that led to the progress, growth, and development of the church, one of the highest denomination churches in Nigeria. My conclusion here, I said, Chief S.A. Dada will celebrate your dedication to the advancement of education and public welfare. Your leadership led to the progress and prosperity in Itakwa. We will forever celebrate you. Thank you.
May I call on the representative of the Dada family to present a goodwill message to this meeting? Mayowa, what is your arrangement?
Oh, yes. Thank you, everyone on the forum. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you, Sir Samas. May God keep blessing you and your family. I will call on my own sister, the eldest in my family. That's Mrs. Ubembe. When my father and my mother died, it was my sister that stepped in and held the family together. So I invite Mrs. Ubembe, Ulufunke Ubembe, to speak on behalf of the family. Sister, here you go.
Good day, everybody. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes. We thank God for making us witness this memorable day, the second of its kind. The first one was held in September 2022. And I was not able to participate in that one, but I'm really thankful to God today for giving me the opportunity to be part of this meeting. On behalf of late Chief S.A. Dada children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, I welcome my fathers, my brothers, my mothers who have joined, my aunties, my junior ones too. I welcome you all to this forum. I want to thank God that God put it in the hearts of some people to do this befitting thing on behalf of the students, the old students of African Church. Some members of African Church Grammar School, that's the class of 1976. They were the one who started it in 2022. And this is the second of its kind. We thank God for them. We thank God for making their efforts come to fruition. Our special thanks goes to the president of the entire old students of African Church Grammar School. I think, I wouldn't know the name. I think she's Mrs. Adeduto. Then the president of the 1976 sets and all other officiating members. We appreciate all your efforts in coordinating these memorial lectures in honor of late father. You did it in 2022. You are doing it again today. May God bless you bountifully for your efforts. Even though you all have demanding schedules, you all still took time to honor your late principal, our father, and we all appreciate that. In this day and age, it is not something that you can come by easily anymore. For students to even give any regards to principal, not to talk of celebrating them after they have died and gone. We have principals who have suffered in the hands of their students. There are a lot, you know, the stories that are around these days. But we thank God that we are doing a good thing in memory of our father today. We are grateful, and we are grateful to see many dignitaries on this forum at this moment. Some were his former students, some were his former associates, some are members of family. They are all joining to be part of this program. And in this regard, we will welcome our daddy, former Deputy Governor of Ekiti State, in the person of Chief Paul Alabi. We also welcome His Royal Highness Obanla of Ijesha-Ishu Ekiti. We welcome other relatives who are joining us, especially those who are joining for the second time. Some were here the last time and now they are here again today. Professor Osho, Mr. Olasope Dada, Deacon and Deaconess Okwadokun, Mr. Elder and Mrs. Fatumbi, to mention a few. We want to give special thanks to Ambassador Bayo, who is popularly known amongst you as Omo Dada. He has worked relentlessly to make these things come to be. I can imagine the type of efforts he put into chasing me to make sure he traps me down and to make me cooperate in doing anything. I said, please, I didn't come to African church. Stop bothering me. But now I see that the whole effort is worth the trouble. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless all your colleagues. May the Lord bless all of us and honor all of us. Thank you very much. From the last meeting we had, I also remember some names who played very important roles, and I cannot forget the keynote speaker, Professor Ayo Omotayo. I can't forget the coordinator. I think his name is Mr. Bimbola. I can't forget Mr. Kalejaiye. I've seen him today and I recognize him. I think I remember there was Mr. Anima Shaun. There was Ibidu, Miss, I don't know what Mrs. she is now, but Ibidu Oshofi's son was there then. Fumi Taiwo was there then, and many others that I cannot, fully name. I thank you all. Most of you were there. Sorry?
1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute, no problem. Please, I would like you to change in your in the write-up for our father. The words that we want to use is biography, not bibliography. Please change it all through. Where you see bibliography, put biography. Chief Dada has planted many seeds. Seeds of love, truth, energy, hard work into the lives of students. I believe this has impacted on all of us, his biological children and all his associates. To keep his dreams alive, we wish to encourage everyone, any child that comes across your way, and you are in a position to help, please help that child. Things like Afrimax, they are not sent down from heaven just like that. You too can be an Afrimax to a child. Just one child that is suffering around you, please identify and make sure you do something to change the life of that person positively. May the Lord help us. Now, Amen. Please, I think I am rounding up now. Let me seize this opportunity to throw back one. This is on a lighter mood, please. Somebody said, they said Baba Dada, he used to eat bananas a lot. Okay, I can attest to that. But again, I want to say to those people who were enjoying my mother's chickens and ducks, they were cooking it and enjoying it after prep to enjoy their gari after prep. They should do double donation today. Okay? Because somebody was bold enough to come and tell me, we used to enjoy Mama's chicken. That's Mama, we enjoy her chickens. So please, all of them, find them. They are to pay double, double donations today. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Still remember your beret as you were driven to.
Oh, yeah.
And you still put it on today. Thank you, man.
Yeah, we thank God.
So the next item is what we have been waiting for. That is our lecture for today. And we have in our midst Dr. Oladipo Kalejaiye, who happens to be currently the president of the Afro 76 Search. He obtained his Bachelor of Laws from the then University of Ife, Barrister at Law from the Nigerian Law School, and his doctorate in Foreign and Private International Law from the University of Hamburg. He was called to the Supreme Courts of Nigeria, the United States of America, and the state of California. He was a legal consultant at Hash, Albrecht, Fisher, one of the leading law firms in Europe. Principal partner Kalejaiye Prest and Ogogo. Legal practitioners Ikoyi. Principal Kalejaiye and Co. Akinola Cole Crescent, Ikeja. And principal law officers of Dr. Oladipo Kalejaiye, Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles. He was a litigation attorney for over 25 years before he went into full-time ministry in 2000. He is currently the founder and full-time senior pastor, International Christian Center, Los Angeles, California. He is married to the love of his life, Dr. Noelum Kalejaiye, and they are blessed with 4 children. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest lecturer, Dr. Oladipo Kalejaiye. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, Agabayo. Good day from Los Angeles to all our alumni, the Chief S.A. Dada Memorial Lecture Committee, and to the family and friends of Chief S.A. Dada who have joined us today for the Chief S.A. Dada Second Biennial Memorial Lecture. I was accorded the opportunity and privilege of choosing the topic of this lecture. And after much musings and reflections, I settled on Oga Dada, a study in deploying tact, tactics, and burlesquing in efficacious administration. I want to just quickly acknowledge the help of some of my friends. When we were in Afro, there was an organization, a social club called the Black Idols. Now we call ourselves Black Icons. We used to organize social events. We would do Fela and Anikulapo Kuti, some of his songs. We do playlists and skits on Friday nights. So I texted them that it should remind me of some of the stories or anecdotes that might help me to enrich my lecture today. So I just want to say thank you to them, Gabimbola, Alabi, Ideume Alabi, Shegon Lowe. They responded and sent me some, and reminded me of some interesting stories about Afro and Oga Dada, Chief S.A. Dada. So I'll be using some of those today. I just want to acknowledge them. I'll be remiss if I didn't make a few preliminary comments or remarks before diving into my lecture. I know that our 1972 senior prefect, now Chief Dr. Aziz Adedotan DOC Balogun of Ibadan, an erudite and eminent cardiovascular surgeon and former commissioner for health of your state, was first considered to be invited as our speaker for today. But due to his unpredictable political schedule, which renders his availability indeterminate, we are not sure whether he will be able to make it. I was asked to fill those big shoes, even though I was really looking forward to hearing him speak. So, but I really don't have to tell you that I can't fill those shoes. All I can say is that it is an honor, a great honor. The honor to speak in his stead today is entirely mine. That's all I can say. Indulge me here just to digress a little and say a few things about what happened when I encountered Dr. Adedotan. I was hoping that Mrs. Adedotan would be here so that she would be able to send my love to him because of the indelible impression he made on me. It was 1977. I was on my way to one of the law classes at the then University of Ife, when all of a sudden I saw a familiar, huge and imposing figure coming towards me with a wide, joyful smile. It was Senior Aziz. He recognized me. He had the white robe that medical students use for their clinicals. You know, he had it hung over his shoulder. And you could see that he was so happy. to see me. So we greeted. But frankly, I didn't know how best to greet him. I was just 11 years old and 41 days, 11 years and 41 days old when I started in Afro Form 1. So, and he was a school prefect, and we were communicating only in a very, very reserved way. So it took me some time to adjust and know exactly how to respond to his greeting. So I just had to quickly remind myself that, hey, wait a minute, I'm in university now. We are on the same level now. It's university, I'm university. So I need to start behaving like an adult, because he looked larger than life at that time in those days. So he was gracious. His gracious and humble disposition left an indelible impression on me. As I just want to give him a shout out. If Mr. Adoto were here, I would have loved her to help me tell him that when I see him, there are some stories I will share with him of my encounter with him in Afro that will make him fall off his chair in laughter when I see him. But let me go quickly to my lecture. I think it was Nick Carraway of Scott Fitzgerald classic, The Great Gatsby, that said that, that in the intimate revelations of young men, that they are usually plagiaristic and marred by obvious oppressions. Well, I'm no longer young. I wouldn't say I'm young any longer. And certainly I can say that I have enough capacity to absorb self-deprecations. So let me just say this. When I met Dada, Chief S.A. Dada, fondly called Dada in those days by the whole school. I met Chief S.A. Dada when I was 11 years and 41 days old in 1972, when I was admitted into Afro. But actually, I wouldn't say I was admitted, because when you say you were admitted, it would presuppose that you sat for the exam and you passed the exam, the entrance exam. Honestly, I have no recollection that I sat for that exam or that I even passed it. I was so rascally when I was in elementary school that my parents didn't know what to do with me. And I'm the last of 6 brothers and sisters. All my brothers went to GCI, Government College Ibadan, near Afro there. All my sisters went to Queen School. I didn't want to go to school. I hated school. I hated exams. I hated school. So my parents didn't know what to do with me. But so my father took me to Chief S.A. Dada to tell him that, look, you need to help me help this boy. And so I wasn't sure whether I really sat for that exam or whether I passed it. All I know is that Chief S.A. Dada was gracious and was kind and took me into his school. And I can say that by the grace of God, I am what I am today, by the grace of God, by the persistence of my parents to make someone out of their rascally boy, and the kindness of Chief S.A. Dada. I will forever be grateful to him and his family. When I saw the face of Mayowa and his sister today, they reminded me of the face of Chief S.A. Dada. I love the man so much. Thank God for him because of what the Lord has used him to accomplish in my life. As I speak, I see in my mind's eye the impeccably neat, very neat Chief S.A. Dada, in his uniform, mostly white, off-white, and light blue French suit. I see his soft-looking, glowing cheeks, his mustache, very handsome face, his white teeth, I just love the man anytime he appeared. Wale Soyinka said, the tiger does not need to proclaim his tigritude, but he just jumps. When Dada came into a room, he had a presence. He never needed to announce his arrival. Disorder would just morph to orderliness effortlessly anytime you spotted that French suit, whatever shade of white or blue. He was one of those authority figures who are so instinctively skillful in interacting with teenage souls. Remember, we were all teenagers at that time. After the rebuke of such people, you rarely feel that that exasperation that irritates teenagers when they are corrected, but rather for him, you will feel a catharsis that exalts you. That was the kind of man Chief S.A. Dada was. All his decisions and actions, they were motivated by his vehement and perpetuated desire that we, his students, should turn out well. He will show up at the WAEC exam, walking around and trying to make sure that we put our names, we put our numbers, so that we didn't make any mistake, So today, I'm just going to quickly speak about how he effectively used nuanced strategies of tact, tactics, and burlesquing in the administration of our school. how he handled situations, teachers, students, and their parents without coming off as offensive, how he used tactics in achieving specific goals, and how he used humor and parody to dull the sting of corrective rebuke. Now, Aristotle taught that to be persuasive, you need three essential elements of rhetoric. You need ethos, you need pathos, and you need logos. Well, may I say that a school principal, in order to be successful, to administer his school, also needs those three. Chief Dada had the three, and he was tactful, tactical, and humorous in their employment. The first essential element, ethos, relates to the credibility of the speaker. Chief Dada had built credibility. I mean, in those days, during our period, there were a lot of female teachers at school, more than the guys, more than the men. And we didn't see them going in and out of his house. No, he was very strict about which of the female leaders and teachers will come and will come with a husband. He built credibility, even though he didn't know people were watching, he built credibility. Not only that, he maintained that credibility with tact. Let me give an example. There was a year when the position of the senior prefect was to be filled. One of the two students being considered was his half-brother, who was overwhelmingly qualified as the other student. Just the appearance of nepotism dissuaded him from approving the choice of his brother. He chose the other student. Now imagine how his credibility must have soared in the eyes of students and teachers alike, who knew that he was a brother to one of the contenders. That was Chief Dada. Chief Dada understands the interplay between tact and tactics and how they complement each other in the art of persuasive leadership. I think it was towards the end of 1975 or early 76 when some seniors in that year organized a protest and made all the budding students to stay away from the assembly and classrooms in protest against some teachers who were whipping students on the calf and causing caustic injuries. Poor food quality was also included in the complaints. Rather than respond heavy-handedly, using his authority and power as the school principal to crush the protest and suspend its leaders, Chief Dada started out using tactics to ferret out its leaders. However, when nobody squealed and the leaders remained unidentified, he tactically negotiated with the seniors. The whipping on the calf stopped, the food quality was improved, and he came down to the dining hall occasionally to personally inspect the food. He effectively foreclosed the possibility of escalation. The second essential element, pathos, is the ability of a speaker to rouse an audience's affections, to make them care about the subject. Now, which of us here on this platform today will deny how familiar and hilarious some of those assembly days used to be when Chief Dada would switch over to his dialect to parody using burlesquing as a tool to address serious issues. He knew the risk of burlesquing, that failure to balance humor and professionalism can undermine authority or respect. He was easily adept at that balancing. They say you campaign in poetry and you govern in prose. Whenever there was a breach of the purity culture that should characterize a fortiori a Christian school like Afro, Chief Dada rebuked in poetry, marinated in burlesquing, and restored and reinstilled discipline in prose. On sex and sexuality specifically, he was neither naive nor deceived. He apprehended any feigned ignorance by his school teenagers in matters of sex and sexuality. So using constructive humor, satire, and funny Yoruba proverbs, he was able to clamp down on improprieties and to chaperone us away from acts and behaviors that gravely violate the sentiment or accepted standards for teenagers. Chief Dada was not an unreasonable, self-righteous principle. He understood that boys and girls of our age will have their share of temptations and struggles with wayward ways. He winked at some while simultaneously guarding us against self-sabotaging habits that plague the young. I remember the Friday social nights and the end of year parties. He tried to stay away so the gravitas of his presence wouldn't chill our fun. He understood. He was only concerned with curtailing our excesses. You know, online, for example, telling lies, he discouraged lying with the folklore of the farmer who planted 100 yam tubers, but kept telling everyone in the village that he planted 500. So when the harvest comes, he will eat 100 real yams and 400 fake yams. He also talked of the blind man who was sleeping, and when confronted with, why are you sleeping? The man vehemently said, oh, no, I'm not sleeping. They said, why is he lying? After all, even if he's not sleeping, how many people can he see? Now, the third essential element of the art of persuasion or rhetoric is logos. It speaks to the rational arguments or logic presented. An accomplished mathematician himself, Chief Dada was a master of rational and logical thinking. A student was sent home for failure to pay school fees. The professed single-parent mother came gorgeously arrayed to plead with Chief Dada to allow her child back in school. Courteously listening to her plea, he was copying her expensive dressing, jewelry, well-manicured and painted nails, the forte only of the middle and upper class at that time. His conclusion was rational and logical. This parent has misplaced priorities. He didn't say a word. He didn't offend her. He sent the child back home almost as soon as the mother left the school. The child's fees was paid in less than 3 days. That was Dada. So in conclusion, I just want to say that my stay in Afro, Dada really impacted my life in such a way that today, I still remember him fondly. I remember the help he rendered to me and how he was not like most teachers who believe that they must use, they must apply the Board of Education to the seat of wisdom every time. No, Dada, even though he beats us occasionally, but he rarely did. He will use words. He will use parody. He will use humor. He will use Yoruba proverbs and adage. He will use wisdom. He will use burlesquing. He will use tactics to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish in his students, to make us will turn out well. So I just want to thank God for him, to thank God for his family, to thank God for the committee that set up this event. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak regarding such a great man. God bless you all. Thank you.
Kalejaiye, please, a round of applause for what we have just heard, which will definitely take some of us back to those days and remember some of those incidents. Thank you so much. God bless you. The next item on our program is some testimonials. Let me call on my colleague, Mrs. Omololu Amoro, to render whatever she has from her corner in terms of testimonials.
Good day to everyone. And thank you, Pastor Kalejaiye, for your lecture today. I am going to be taking the tribute from Engineer Adedamola Adeyinka.
The next item on our program is donations. And I'm going to call on Professor Fisayo Oduwole and Reverend Segun Olowe to take charge. Both of you cannot speak at the same time, but anything one person forgets, the other person can chip in. Professor Oduwole, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bayado. My name is Fisayo Oduwole. I'm a member of the census set. We grew up to know one principal only, and it's Chief Dada. Because of time, just like Elizabeth Taylor told her last husband, I will not keep you long, I'm going to make it short. we've been trying to do a lot of things to immemorize Chief S.A. Dada. First thing we did was to reconstruct the administrative building, which is near completion. We are almost done, except we need to put in furniture in the building. The building was renamed Samuel Ayodele Dada's building. We are very happy to have a generous friends and colleagues that have provided some money, but we still need some money. So I will impress on all of you that love us of Dada, all of you that he has impacted its life in one way or the other, to please just donate to us so that we can continue to propagate his name, to immemorize him. And I will open floor for my colleague, Mr. Olusegun Olowe, to give some comment, and then we'll start taking donations.
Okay, thank you, Fisayo. Somebody, when she was talking about the family keynote address, she said she didn't attend our school, but she lived in our school. So, and also, when she was acting a play in Queen's School, we were there to watch her. That is one of us.
Yes,
I mean, Kalejaiye, you remember?
I remember. She's
And
one of us. We saw her every day.
And we paid to watch her in Queen's School that day.
Correct.
That's why I told her we
So it's a
always
nice
see
thing
her
having you, Mrs. Obembe.
Queen School
The Lord
beret.
bless you. So it's nice having you with us, Mrs. Obembe. The Lord bless you. So all I just want to say, as Fisayo has said, that we are almost completed, but we need more. And our account number is 0081. Bayo, I said, please, if you can help me put it on the platform there, I'll be very grateful. I've sent it to your, I've DM'd it to you. 08081348993, Sterling Bank. And the name of the account is African Church Grammar School Old Student Association, 1976. So we need you to help us. And Bayo, if you can help me, because I know much about Dada family very well, if you can still help me reach the Dadas who were living in Elewura those days. You remember, Bayo? And all of you that are Dadas, bring them into our next lecture and let them know how we value the Dada family. And if you can reach them to bring them in to donate to us, we'll be very grateful. The Deputy Governor, if you are hearing me, God bless you. We need you to help us to raise our hands up. And Professor Oshotu, thank you for coming. Please join us. And all other people that have been invited that loves Dada, this one will be in his memory forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Olowe. What I will add to what my colleagues have said is that the admin block, which is being named after Chief S.A. Dada.
Hello, are you?
The renovation has cost us in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 million naira. We have other things that we are here to do. We have decided in a meeting to give some prizes on an annual basis to the best mathematics students in the school. That we have not done. So we are looking forward to generous donations in this regard. So, like my colleague said, the account number is the account number of African Church Grammar School Old Students Association 76 set is Sterling Bank, and Sterling Bank 0081348993. I repeat, 0081348993. 81348993. I don't know the Dada family. I eavesdropped that they want to start the ball rolling, supported by the chairman, in terms of donations. Do you have any announcements?
Yes, we do. On behalf.
No, it's me. You are muted. You are muted. You are muted. Unmute yourself, please.
Unmute and speak, Bayowa.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to the thing. And on behalf of my family, we would like to put in a small donation of 10 million naira just to help with the process. We will release it to the account you give us in naira. And we wish the future generation the best. Everybody in my family, I'm acting on behalf of Mrs. Funke Obimbi, Mrs. Oladuni Apochi, Mrs. Nike Abujana, myself, Olumayo Dada, and Mrs. Yola. So we came together, we talked about it, and we want to see the program succeed. Most of us are no longer based in the country, but we wish the future generation well. My father tried his best with his limited opportunities. We have better opportunities today based on his effort. So we thank you, Ambassador Idowu, for putting, and all the other organizers for setting the ball rolling. We all appreciate you, sirs and mas, all the daddies and the mommies on the platform. God bless. But that's a small donation to start the process.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your time. Yeah, bye.
Bayo, let's acknowledge the Dada's family.
Yes.
For their generous donation. We'll thank you very much. We'll thank you for your contribution to Dada's fund. And we'll pray that God will continue to bless your pocket. Thank you very much, Bayo, and thank you very much, Sister Funke. God bless you all.
Thank you. Yes, this is the opportunity to further the legacies of our revered icon. Any other person wants to make a donation to be thankfully received, and I can assure you it will be judiciously spent for the purpose which you are making the donation.
Yeah, I know that I've already given in my personal capacity. Our ministry, International Christian Center, will give 500,000 naira.
Wow. Anyway, in Yoruba, they say,
Thank you, sir.
I see Bella Idasi. I hope there is no.
Thank you, sir. Dada behaving.
Baba Jesha, behave yourself, otherwise I will send you out. I, on behalf of myself and numerous children who went through the tutelage of Chief Dada, who are not really his biological children, I know many of them will still come forward with their own donations later. I also give 500,000 naira.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Did somebody say chairman wants to say something?
Yes, Professor Osho.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I want to donate 200,000 naira.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, there are so many of us on the platform. Thank you very much from the Dada family and all donors and all those that will come after it. I know we will still have them streaming in from time to time. Thank you very much. Now, the next item on the program is vote of thanks. But just before then, there are some people, some of the people on the platform who are only identified by their mobile phones, the type of mobile phone they are using. Please indicate yourself so that we can properly document this event. There is Infinix X669, there is Infinix X6529, and there is MIA2, and there is also Zoom user. All these people, we are unable to know who is behind them. So that you can recognize you properly in future events and other things. Please kindly identify yourself.
Zoom user is Adefisayo Oduwole.
Okay, Zoom user is Fisayo Oduwole.
Adefisayo Oduwole, yeah.
Okay. There is MIA2. And there is Infinix X6525.
Xfinity.
Infinix.
Okay. MIO is Miss.
My name is Engineer Oladipo.
MI.
It is Doni Akpochi.
Ah, okay. Right. Now, it's time to have the vote of thanks from our chairman, Dr. Adewumi Abimbola Alabi. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here again. I told my wife today I would like to put on the Afro uniform. That's why I'm putting this on. Several years ago. Chief Dada is not just a father to me, like I've shared with some of you. It was when I left Afro that I realized how close Dada was to me, that he was the best man at my parents' wedding. So, but throughout the period I spent with him, he treated me like any other student. There was no preferential, that he knew my parents that close. But today we want to thank God that from his life, different speakers have talked about his discipline, his challenge to education, his challenge to transparency, his living above the board. His one principle that, had a career without blemish, no scandal, no accusation. Those are legacies we can take away from his life. And one of the things I enjoyed through Mayowa was that anytime the African church people came to do anything in the principal's house, I got my pounded yam and everything that was shared. So thank you again, Mayowa, for being a good
confession.
Confession time.
Yeah, so we also thank God for many things he challenged us in thinking global. Dada will read to us what was happening in America. He will tell us what Enrique Zija was saying, what America was doing wrong. And yeah, he gave us not just a little perception of the Akpata, he gave us the world. And we, like you could see, all over, all of us are global. I'm not surprised that Mayowa said all of them are not in Nigeria. So that was global, and so it's not. So we want to thank you for coming today. By the grace of God, Dr. Kalejaiye, when he was speaking, we initially wanted Dr. Adeduton to speak on this occasion, but Dr. Adeduton, the Osibalogun of Ibadan, has accepted to be our speaker in 2026 of Ibadan land. Okay. So again, we want to thank you and thank every one of you. Please, like Mrs. Obembe challenged us, what we can do is that any student that you find that is needy near you, Dada will not let that pass by. Do something on behalf. If Dada were to be alive, he would not let that student go hungry or go without being sponsored for his education. So please do that to anyone you see that needs it. And on that note, I'll hand over back to our anchor for today. Mrs. Obende, we also call him Ogabeyu, apart from being Omo Ogadada. So I'll hand over back to Ogabeyu. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. 2026, September 8th, by God's grace, Dr. Adeduton will be speaking to us. And we plan before then, you should be able to see a book on his legacy that we are working on. These speeches that has been given and the testimonials, we want to put it together in a book so that you can read what Ogadada has done over the years. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, our able chairman, and the moving spirit behind the wonders that the committee is doing. We thank all of you for coming. Let me tell you one thing about Afro 76 that you may not realize. There are not less than 6 pastors. There are not less than 6 pastors in this group. So God has really blessed us, and we also attribute some of those things to the tutelage and the nurturing that we had at the African Church Grammar School through the versatility of Chief S.A. Dada. More perspective will come, and we trust the Lord that all of you will be around in 2026 to come and celebrate him again, because we will always have this once every 2 years.
And we desire
Thank you very much for
to be
coming.
physical in 2026 by your God helping us.
Yes, and we are looking forward to an opportunity to host this event in Nigeria.
In 2026.
In 2026.
Point of correction, I'm in Nigeria.
You said? Somebody wanted to correct me. There was a slip of tongue. Okay. No, I'm sure the person will reach out to me because the voice is a familiar one.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The meeting is ending now, but your donations can still come. There are so many wonderful things that we have lined up to do to entrench and further the legacies of our revered icon. Thank you as you bring them together and forward them to us. And God bless you as you go to your different destinations. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, can you spare me a minute?
Oh, you are free.
You see, I'm one of those who enjoy the pineapple in Ogadada's farm from the backyard.
Confession.
And also, I want to talk like Oga. I want to mimic him. Oh, you want kulegba?
How many pineapples did you take? 100,000 per pineapple.
So also, I remember that our senior that was to go into the Polytechnic, that Ogadada made Bolagi to pay for it. Wahab. He ended up studying medicine in University of Unzuka, University of Nigeria, Unzuka. So just to back up what Ogadada has done so much. The Lord bless us all.
Amen. There was a day somebody was talking about Ogadada. I didn't know that I had any relationship with him. He said, this man. He said, this man. that the book in his head is more than 2 PhDs. I was just laughing.
and you can't wake up before him. No matter how you wake up, you will meet his office light on. No matter
not only that, by the time you pass by his house, you will hear VOA or BBC.
BBC VOA.
His bedroom is close to where we students pass, but you always hear Dada's radio, either on BBC or VOA.
Remember that. He has a special way of identifying students. He has a vantage position in his sitting room. He will just see them through the window. He looks at the shape of the skull and will call the name accurately. You used to be surprised how he did it. Wow.
And Mayo, thank you for buying empty plastic from me for your hospital.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
You remember me now?
Yeah,
you remember me now?
Yes, I do. Yes,
God bless
thank
you,
you, sir.
God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. See you in 2026.
Bye.
Tuni,
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you are free to exit at your own time. Bàbá Ìjẹ̀ṣà, ìjọ tí bá máa bá ẹ ní Ìbàdàn yẹn.
Most of the time, so mo rí ṣe ló kọ́ wá sìgápò.
What happened to that WP 9999?
Well, that would be a long story now. We don't use WP again.
Get that plate number and put it on somewhere on that admin block now named Chief Dada's.
Honestly,
if we can get the WP9,
there should be some archives in that school.
Yes. Well, it's nice hearing from everybody. Oh, God bless you.
Bless you.
You know, when this girl came here in 1971, she was so tiny.
Yes.
I'm not going for that.
Okay. I know.
Everybody go to church tomorrow.
Yes.
Go to church tomorrow. Don't miss Sunday school, though.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Don't miss the Sunday school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great lecture.
Thank you, Mrs. Apoche. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalejaiye. Thank every donor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abuke.
Thanh you for sharing Dada with us in life and in death.
So much. Yes, thank you so much
for attending.
Deborah Olajumoke Dada was my teacher. I was in standard 3. He proceeded to University of Ibadan in September 1953. There and then, we lost contact. However, in 1959, I was a student. I was a grade 3 teacher student at African Church Teacher Training College, Kalejaiye. From that time to 1964 December, I knew him at very close quarters as a principal who believed in justice, fairness. He was a very strict man, a disciplinarian of the highest order. Many students feared him, but they loved him for his fairness on issues. In fact, he was frank to a fault on any matter. Having said this, late Chief Samuel Dada was the chairman in later years late Chief Samuel Ayola Dada was the chairman of my marriage ceremony in 1970. And incidentally, he invited me also to be the chairman of the reception of Nike, one of his daughters, which took place at Obichesan Hall in Ibadan. I was then in Lagos. Late Chief Samuel Ayola Dada will be remembered for his generosity. His passion for education has no limit. He trained people from his family, assisted many people in his town to become well-educated. In African church, he was a pillar, both morally and financially. And as far as his town is concerned, he was very useful to his people. In fact, I do not know how anybody who was close to him, who was very close to him, would not still feel the pain of his demise, which occurred in November 1999. There is no doubt that those students who went through him at the Korea African Church Teacher Training College, Ebenezer Grammar School, Apata African Church Grammar School, Apata Ibadan, will not continue to cherish his memory for truth, for discipline, for merit, and for frankness. A very courageous man and a man of principle. We miss him a lot, but God loved him more than us. May his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Ololatunde Alabi, thank you.
That was the recorded good bit from Chief Alabi. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, sir.
I think I can end it here.
Please.
Like we say, there's noise of joy, shout of hallelujah. Good news is what we're going to hear from each other in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.